What is up, everybody? This is Coos with Coos' Corner. I got a couple special guests on tonight. Got Johnathan Lewis from college football, Johnathan Lewis, and I've got JPC from Outlaw of college football. We're just gonna chat about the bowl games and some interesting bowl matchups that we think are on the slate for this year. Might touch a little bit on the playoff, but I'd like to focus a little bit more on the other bowl games because they don't get any attention. And might even, I probably can't have a college football discussion without talking a little bit about the coaching carousel news, right? That's going on around us.
When you think all the positions are filled, somebody else's coach gets stolen and you got another opening.
Exactly. What is the deal with – so you guys fill me in on what you think about this whole Mario Cristobal. Did they hire the guy before they even let Manny Diaz go?
Yeah, 100%. Manny Diaz was gone. I'm telling you right now, Manny Diaz was gone because if you want any proof in the pudding, dude, the boosters at Miami were coffering for Lane Kiffin 3 weeks ago.
I don't know how. There's got to be some way he can. There's got to be some legal ramifications to doing something like that.
He'll come after Miami for this. I can 100% guarantee. There's no legal justification for removing this dude. He won like the last 5 of the 6 games of the season?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yep.
Yeah. But
anyway,
the problem was he lost to Florida State. If he hadn't lost to Florida State, he might have been all right.
Yeah, but
I agree.
I don't know, man. Here's what I do know. Mario Cristobal, you couldn't have got any better of a coach down there. I will say that because JPC filled me on a little bit about this. Obviously, the dude was born in Miami. He played offensive lineman down there in Miami. He knows the area. He's recruited down there before. So it makes perfect. Oh, and he said like 7 or 8 years ago, it was his dream job on national television. So,
well,
yeah, it makes
he
sense.
was the head coach at FIU. He was the head coach at FIU at one time. They let him go for one subpar season. They're looking rather stupid right now.
Yeah.
And his mother is having health issues as well. So he's wanting – I don't think it's just about financials. I think it's got a lot to do with him wanting to be closer to home and being closer to his mother.
I didn't really think about that. I didn't know about that, in all honesty. So, yeah.
I didn't either. That's cool stuff. That's why I like having you on here, JPC. You're like the college football encyclopedia, man.
Literally, the dude, every time I have a question, I either ask him or I tell him something. He's like, yeah, bro, I told you that last week. And I'm like, lay off a little bit. Lay off. Give me some credit here.
I did a show with him a while back, and he was speaking out knowledge about Major Harris that I don't even know if I knew. What'd you say, JPC?
Johnson's the number guy. If you need something in numbers, Johnson will crunch the numbers for you.
Yeah.
How do your
need somebody to tell you? You need somebody to tell you why your channel is just bogging down on the algorithm. Johnson will tell you.
Hey, he's helped me out a lot.
So yeah.
And what do you guys think? Venables is a good hire at Oklahoma. You don't, Jonathan?
It's a good hire. It's not a home run hire. That's going to be the conception to me. People want to say this was the big hire. Lincoln Riley is the big hire going to USC. He's the splash guy. And I know a lot of people will say this is crazy. I'm taking Napier long-term in Florida over Venables in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Only because, number one, the location, and number for the recruiting and stuff like that. And Billy Napier has heavy recruiting pipelines in Florida and Louisiana, obviously. And then you talk about Venables going back to Oklahoma, and this team's about to transition over to the SEC and have to recruit against the SEC. And you don't know what you're going to get from him out of that, in all honesty. It's kind of like a toss-up to me, in a sense. Right. I get it. I get the hype behind him. He's been at Clemson, learning from Dabo and all that stuff. He has a long list. He's been coaching, over 30 years. So, I mean, I get it. It was the best hire at the right time. But I'm not going to sit here and say it's a slam dunk hire.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm always these coaches. You don't ever know, honestly, until the guy's in a job 3, 4, 5 years, whether he's going to be a success or not.
Yeah,
to be honest. I mean, unless you go out and get somebody like an Urban Meyer or somebody like that you know is going to be a success. To me, they're all a toss-up
for 3 or 4 years before he leaves.
Yeah.
I've been on the Oklahoma side in a lot of this with Lincoln Riley.
Mm-hmm.
But the one fault that Oklahoma fans have is if you don't continually lick their ass 24/7
Here we go.
They're gonna jump on you and they're gonna turn on you with a quickness, man. I've been doing nice, great articles or great podcasts about Oklahoma for the past month.
Mm-hmm.
I just asked a simple question, man. Is it possible that Bob Stoops and the administration there are not giving full control to whoever the head coach is?
Yeah.
Because Lincoln Riley sort of hinted around about some stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying that Bob Stoops doesn't need to become another Phil Fulmer. You don't need to come in there and try to dictate things. And the administration, Joe how you say his name, Castiglione?
Castiglione.
Yeah.
They need to let this man run his own program, or you're going to have another Jeremy Pruitt situation.
Yeah, that can't be said any more perfect. Oklahoma fans are torching this dude right now on YouTube for just simply asking that question. And look, it's just like when people questioned Philip Fulmer at Tennessee. If you question Bob Stoops, who won their last national championship in 2000, they're going to burn you to the ground at this point. It would be like Alabama fans, somebody talking bad about Bear Bryant or even Nick Saban. You know what I mean? They're going to come after you with the pitchforks.
Yeah. So the JPC, I haven't had a chance to watch that video yet, but I will. I'm anxious to see what you're talking about, man.
Yeah, they got on there. I told Johnathan, I said, man, I'm probably going to lose some subscribers. And sure enough, Johnathan hit me up. It's like, man, you just lost 2 or 3 subscribers.
Well, but you'll probably gain.
I'm an Alabama fan, and I don't unsubscribe to people when they're critical of Alabama when Alabama deserves it, or if there's actually a question to be asked.
It's just emotional fans.
We're on YouTube. Our job is to give our opinion. That's what we're supposed. Isn't that what we're supposed to do?
That's what I do.
I just wish people wouldn't go and lose their bowels every time somebody makes a critical comment about them.
It is. Yeah, I had Cincinnati fans all up in arms at me because I got the capacity of their stadium wrong by 3,000 people.
I remember that. I
was getting comments 3-4 months later. You need to do your research. I said I did. It came off your university website.
Yep.
And I sent the link to them.
You said what now?
I was did a video about Cincinnati coming to the Big 12, and I said their stadium held 37,000 people because that's what their website says. And their fans got mad at me and said, you need to do your research before you post this on the internet. It's 40,000.
Well,
I said, number 1, round up to 40. And number 2, 37. And 2, you don't come at me. You need to go talk to whoever's putting together your university website because that's where I got the information from.
It's not your fault that Moeller High School in Cincinnati is bigger.
Moeller High School. This
they
dude
got
just
biggest. What?
Hey, they put out some good ball players.
That's right. That's what
Deuce
Jerry
McBride
Faust
from West Virginia played basketball there. He's now in the NBA.
Jerry Faust was a head coach there. He ended up being a head coach at Notre Dame. Sort of like that high school coach they just hired named Freeman.
Yeah, Marcus Freeman.
Y'all think that was a bad hire?
I think it was.
Yeah, same thing. I don't think it was a good hire. I think it was Notre Dame losing Brian Kelly, not realizing they were losing Brian Kelly, and had to react. And the reaction was, go ahead.
One of the committee's things, and I didn't know this until yesterday, one of their things is that if you have a situation where maybe one of your players is going to be out, one of your star players, or if your coach is not going to be there, they use that against you and decide whether to put you in the playoff. So I think Notre Dame done it to say, hey, look, we got it stabilized just in case they needed that to get in the playoff.
Yeah. Look, correct me if I'm wrong here. I know you know the names, JPC, so help me out. You may know it as well, Justin. So anyways, who is the last couple of Notre Dame first-time head coaches that took over? What's his name? Weiss. When he went over.
Charlie Weiss, Bob Davie. They all worked out great, right?
Dude, dumpster fires. And look, I'm not saying Marcus can't be great in the future. I'm just saying this. I'm older than him. He's 35. I looked it up. He's really young. And I'm not saying you can't be young and successful. All I'm saying is the dude hasn't, he hasn't been to the gauntlet yet. This dude's about to take over Notre Dame, who I think we all can agree is one of the most prestigious programs out there, right?
They'll fire back at you with, well, Lincoln Riley was young and he took over, but Lincoln Riley had been a coordinator for a little while. I don't think Freeman's even been at Notre Dame more than a year as a coordinator. It sort of reminds me of the Mike DeBose hire.
Yeah. He is bad as I'll definitely agree with that 100%. And I just feel like it was an act of in all honesty, desperation, because number one, the players advocated for him all over social media. and the fans advocated for him. And the university let the alumni and the players dictate who hired the head coach. And I'm supposed to agree with that?
You stole my thunder, man. That's what I was going to say. They got all emotional and let their emotions get involved, and they let them dictate it, just like Tennessee let them fans screw them out of a couple of good coaches.
Greg Schiano.
Yeah.
I got Crib Keeper's one of my most loyal listeners, one of my loyal viewers. He says it's not the size of the stadium that matters; it's how you use it. Go. Crib Keeper's a Bearcats fan.
So Cincinnati fans.
He's one of the Cincinnati fans that don't get oversensitive about everything.
Okay, that's good because I'm wearing the wrong hat. In case you guys don't know.
Oh no, it's all good. Crib Keeper's cool. He's actually a West Virginia native, but somehow or another he didn't get brainwashed into becoming a West Virginia fan like the rest of us.
Oh. I was actually rooting for Cincinnati to get in the playoff, man. I don't have no problem with them getting the playoff. It's just that when you have some of these fans that say they should get in the playoff just because they're undefeated, and that's bullshit. I mean, because anybody can go undefeated if they got an easy schedule.
I mean, do you want me to get started here with the
Bearcats fan? I don't know about the word anybody, but you're right. I see what you're saying. I wouldn't have put them in. Now, had Oklahoma State won, I wouldn't put Cincinnati in over Oklahoma State.
Yeah. Oklahoma State losing was a big, big favorite for Cincinnati.
But I did think they should get in based on the teams, based on the current situation.
You can't put them in. You can't put Notre Dame in over them after they beat Notre Dame. Not only they beat Notre Dame, they beat them in the face of touchdown Jesus. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was the most important thing. They beat them on the road in South Bend. Yeah, there's just no ignoring that. Now, I got a question for you, Coos, for Justin here. What do you think of the Brian Kelly hire to LSU?
I think he'll do well there because I think he's just a great football coach, and I think he'll be good anywhere he goes. But I don't blame him for leaving. I hate how he left, man.
Yep.
To leave when your team still has a shot at playing in the championship.
That's crazy.
Abandon your players like that. I just think it was I think it was shady, man. And I mean after I found out how he left Cincinnati in a similar manner.
Yep.
He did them maybe even worse. He didn't even talk to the players at Cincinnati before he left.
He gave him a text.
Yeah, it was brutal, man. And he was doing interviews with ESPN at the Cincinnati team banquet.
Yep.
In the same building.
Let's do a historical top 4 of the worst exits in college football history. I mean, I guess you could put Dennis Franchione up there holding a rope and Bob Petrino riding around his motorcycle with his mistress and his wife running his ass off the road.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, man, because Brian Kelly, I'm not a fan of Brian Kelly. Everybody wants to say that he's a winner. He wins everywhere he goes. And he does. He does win where he goes. But here's the thing. The dude, and I hate to say something like this, he's a prick. If you go back and watch his meetings and watch how he conducts himself, I have never seen a head coach think he's above everybody else so much in my life until I watch Brian Kelly interviews. And I'm like, now, do what?
He reminds me a lot of Bob Petrino.
Yeah, he really does. And if you want a good example of it, go and look up Brian Kelly on the Pat McAfee YouTube channel. This dude, they have a whole group of people, like 6 people, tearing Brian Kelly apart, bringing up old clips and stuff of this dude talking down to his players, his staff, treating them like garbage, and then he'll try to create a fake front 10 minutes later in front of the press. Like, no, bro, it doesn't work like that.
What about him making that kid get up on that scaffold and end up knocking it over with the weather, and the boy got killed?
All this stuff, it never gets talked about. Who was it that put the dude in Mike Leach in the outhouse when it was 110 degrees outside? Everybody forgets about that too.
Yeah, you know that was Craig.
It was a shed. It was a tool shed or something, wasn't it?
It was a tool shed. I just say outhouse for the.
You know why it got so much notoriety? That was Craig James' son.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
Craig James used to be an analyst for ESPN.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah, so, nobody would have cared had it been John Doe.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, then you got, now I got to give, of course, I hate giving credit to this guy over here. I hate giving JBC any credit. Jeff Levy to Oklahoma's O coordinator has been confirmed. Geez, what do you think
I don't know
about
much
that?
about Levy. Isn't he a shady character too?
JPC is a Levy guy. Let's hear it.
I'm not a Levy guy. I just said he was going to Oklahoma because that's what I heard.
Levy did wonders with the Ole Miss offense. Everybody wants to give Lane Kiffin credit, but Lane Kiffin actually said Levy's the one that actually constructed that offense.
Levy may be shady, but he's with Lane Kiffin. So what do you expect?
That
you
is
got
true.
Joey Freshwater running the asylum over there.
Joey Freshwater.
I think he got kind of a bad rap because he was at Baylor when all that crap went down with Art Briles, but I don't know that he was involved in any of it. It was kind of a guilty by association type thing.
So like Cheyenne and the Penn State crap.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Like, how are they going to say he's guilty by association when he had nothing to do with it? Like, he wasn't even involved in the investigation.
Wasn't it Tennessee who hired him and then fired him like the same day?
They didn't hire him. They were trying to hire him.
They're trying to hire him, and they let their fans dictate, and the players dictate the shit.
Yeah, the fans.
That said, I think Brian Schiano would have won at Tennessee. Or Greg Schiano.
He would have.
Yeah, I think he would have won.
He would have 100% would have won Tennessee, but
they made a huge mistake there.
He's won at Rutgers, so
yeah, he's struggling a little bit now though, but
yeah. But Michigan only beat them by 5 points, and Michigan's in the playoff.
Yeah.
With the concussion and put him in the dark room was, I guess.
I think it was probably blown out of proportion, honestly.
Yeah, most
What's
likely.
That?
It says, talking about the scaffolding thing, he said with a concussion and put him in the dark room, why is that guy still a head coach? Or not the scaffolding thing, with the tool room. I always say outhouse for effect because it always gets people riled out. They'll be like, it wasn't an outhouse. I'm like, no, but it's the same concept. You put a kid in a tool shed. What's the difference? Might as well stick him in an outhouse. That sounds like some Bear Bryant stuff. So
at least in the outhouse, you'd have water.
Oh, really? Really, man?
All right, guys, let's get into these bowl games a little bit. What taking out the CFP semifinal games, what bowl game do you find the most intriguing out of all the other ones?
JPC, you want to start or you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead, JPC. You guys go. We'll just go left or right.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of interesting bowl games. Like I said, I think they had a little fun with this, and then they stuck Auburn's ass in Birmingham after Auburn claimed they'd never play in Birmingham again. Auburn said when they quit playing Alabama and Birmingham, they'd never play in Birmingham again. They played there twice against Memphis and now Houston. Then you got Florida playing UCF in an intrastate rival game. I guess it's been forced on Florida. But I guess it's probably the most intriguing game for me that I want to watch. It's probably the same one Jonathan's going to say is Oklahoma and Oregon and San Antonio.
Yeah, it is here in San Antonio, but no, that's not what I'm going to pick. It's the most obvious. It's the battle of the coaches that left bowl. That's what they should call it.
Now, there is one intriguing matchup that I do like. I take that back. I like the Ole Miss versus Baylor game because you got Kiffin versus Aranda.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is definitely going to be an intriguing game.
Two complete opposite personalities.
Yeah, 100% on that. Are you done, JPC, or can I get started on my rant?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you better get it wrong. So anyways, of course, you stole my thunder with Florida versus UCF. Why wouldn't you? On that one, obviously, Florida looking like a complete dumpster fire, bringing in Billy Napier, seeing if he can beat UCF. And you're 100% right. Forced upon them. It's in Tampa. And the exact name of the bowl is, let's see here, Union Home Mortgage Home Gasparillo Bowl. Jesus. That sounds legit. But no, in all seriousness, intriguing ones. This may sound crazy. I'm going to watch the SMU versus Virginia. That is like the battle of two elite quarterbacks going on here. Yeah. Tyler Mordecai and Brennan Armstrong. I don't know. That's one of the most intriguing to me. Now, outside of the typical, see here, CFP here, there was a couple others I actually had lined up here. Obviously, the Oregon and Oklahoma. It's here in San Antonio. Let's see here. There was another one I highlighted on here somewhere. UCLA and NC State's going to be another intriguing one to me. Chip Kelly. NC State's obviously had some big games this season, beating Clemson and stuff like that. It's going to be interesting to see how Sissy Blue plays against NC State. Just my opinion. And there's a couple more I can list off.
They could have got a rematch on that. Since LSU was bowl eligible, they should have made LSU play UCLA twice.
Okay. LSU, have you seen their matchup? Let's be real.
Yeah.
Dumpster fire. So let's not even talk about that. Are you going to go ahead? Do you want us to name off our snooze-fest games or boring games?
No,
or you want to
I'll
wait
get
on
that in a minute. I'll get to that one in a minute. I want to give you my most intriguing game, and for the same reason JPC said on the Oregon Oklahoma, you're gonna have either two new coaches or two teams with interim coaches, however they decide to do it.
Yeah,
or one with an interim and one who knows, right? That's an intriguing game, and I think I'm really looking forward to the Baylor Ole Miss game, not only because of the Kiffin and Randall matchup, but you got SEC Big 12. It's a chance for the Big 12 to earn some respect, which I think they have a little bit anyway this year, but because I think the Big 12 has gotten some respect nationally this year, but I think we have a chance. Anytime you get a chance to play a top tier SEC team, it's a good opportunity, I think.
No, of course. I mean, I'll give my take on that, I guess, when we go back around on the Baylor versus Ole Miss.
And then, but I guess that would be the ones I had picked out for intriguing. But now, which one do you think, JPC, will be your biggest? Let's do the biggest snooze fest. Which one's going to be the biggest snooze fest?
All the bowls on December 17th, all three of them, because every single one of them are some directional bullshit, man. You got Coastal Carolinas. Who else? Well, Northern
Illinois,
Southern that,
Middle Tennessee State.
Middle Tennessee State, and they ain't even got no direction. They're right in the middle, man.
Bro, stop with your ridiculousness. Look, we're not talking about those games. We know what he's talking about. So get away from that crap. No one's going to watch the damn games. We already understand that.
That is a snooze fest.
No, tell me what's a legitimate snooze fest in the Power 5.
And I don't understand how these people come up with the dates of their games, too. You got Ball State playing Georgia State on Christmas.
Who wouldn't watch that?
If you had like they used to have the Hawaii Bowl on Christmas. If you'd had like Memphis and Hawaii playing on Christmas, I might watch that. But you're gonna have Ball State playing who was it again? Ball State versus Georgia State
on the
Christmas Day. Who the hell's gonna watch that, man? Hell, Ball State fans won't even watch it, man. It's Christmas Day. Nobody's gonna do that.
It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. It never has made sense.
Yeah, I don't get. I mean, could they not have moved the bowls back a day or something to accommodate? Right?
They could, but they're not.
And it's in Montgomery, Alabama, man. That if y'all have been to Montgomery,
it's the hood.
No. It's pretty run down. It's
bad.
Not a very good city. It's not a very nice place to be.
Yeah.
All right, Jonathan, what's your snooze fest game?
Oh, this was an easy one right from the beginning. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be one. Nobody in their right mind would watch a North Carolina versus South Carolina game. Both teams are terrible, overwhelmingly terrible. South Carolina beat Florida. I don't know why they beat them. I couldn't explain to you how they beat them. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, bro. All I know is North Carolina is the most underachieving team I've ever seen in a season, by the way, because when they started off this season, I don't know if you guys remember, they were a top 15 team expected to possibly contend in the playoffs. Not many people remember that.
At least it's a border war. At least you got some intrigue there, North versus South, right?
No, South Carolina is a terrible team.
They beat Auburn, man.
I'm telling you right now, this game, the 3 stars that are possibly going to go undrafted free agents are probably setting out this game. No offense. No offense. That's probably exactly what's about to happen. Sam Howell is the most interesting thing of this game. When the 2 running backs left North Carolina last year, North Carolina already knew. They tried to pump them up for what they're not. And then Sam Howell got exposed this year for what he is. And then the same thing for South Carolina, who had a graduate assistant starting at quarterback. And you're going to tell me I'm supposed to watch these type of games? No. No. I can send my 3-year-old son out there to play quarterback. No offense to South Carolina, but it's all offensive.
I hear you. Well, I like Crip Keeper's comment. Imagine living down the street from the Myrtle Beach Bowl like I do. Good Lord help me. Yeah, that game's got Old Dominion and Tulsa in it. I mean, If I'm going to Myrtle Beach, I'm not going to watch Tulsa and Old Dominion.
No.
I didn't have that
offense.
in my notes. I had that in my notes as the most affordable, best trip
Oh my
combo.
God. Most affordable.
Yeah.
Expedia.
It might be.
Look,
JPC.
Look, man, they should have called this the Expedia.com Bowl or some shit.
Oh my
Because
God. Bro.
I bet I could get a ticket for about $2, man, at Dollar General.
You could scalp them for $1.50 probably.
Hey,
But
did you know
the
Myrtle Beach is the
trip-
West Virginia of the South?
The trip
Oh
ain't
my-
bad, right? I've never been to Myrtle Beach. I heard it's nice.
It actually is.
It is, but no, that's where the majority of people from here go on vacation because it's affordable and it's like the closest beach to us.
There you
So
go.
most of us go there, but it's actually gotten the crime
That's
rate.
where we need to go. All three of us, man. Let's go to the
I'm not going to Myrtle
Expedia.com.
Beach.
The crime
Come on,
rate has
man.
skyrocketed in the last few years.
Say the crime rate has?
Yes, it
It
has.
doesn't surprise me.
That's where Steve Sawyer plays golf.
Y'all are going to be surprised by my snooze-fest bowl.
Oh, here we go.
It's my team.
Really?
Obviously,
The
fans of Minnesota and West Virginia are going to be interested. But you've got two teams. It might be a 14-13 game. Both offenses are terrible, and both defenses are pretty good. So, I'm excited about it because it's a team we've never played before.
Right.
As a fan, I like to see different games, but for the casual fan, I don't think it's going to be a very exciting game. Just my opinion.
I don't know.
And
I like the intrigue of Neil Brown. Go ahead.
The location, once again, I hate to keep harping on it, but the location they put these two teams, it's just awful, man.
Nobody should watch North Carolina versus South Carolina.
They could at least put them in one of them Texas bowls on December 17th.
Dude.
Yeah. Location-wise, I'd rather have that. Bahamas?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Bahamas is a little bit further than Arizona, probably.
Bahama Bowl.
Actually, it's probably not. Honest to God, it probably isn't. You just got to go over the ocean to get there.
Yeah, don't you have to get like a visa or something to go there?
Yeah. How about the fact there's 42 bowl games?
Oh, I thought there was 44.
Is it 44 this now?
I think it's up to 44, but two of them are like the literally below the Cheez-It Bowl. I think they're like the Charmin extra toilet wipes bowl or something like that. No, I'm seriously. I think it's for the lower tier FCS teams or something like that. So I'll have to go back and look.
There is a celebration bowl, but because Coach Prime's coaching in it. Jackson State and South Carolina State.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a HBC Bowl.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I guess South Carolina State and HBCU school.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
South Carolina State is, yeah.
Okay,
mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. That actually might get viewers because of Dion. Honestly,
we're doing it.
You know they got two bowls in Frisco, Texas, within 2 days of each other.
And do you know nobody's going to watch it?
I mean, what's up with Frisco? I ain't never heard of Frisco, Texas, man.
I haven't either.
I live in Texas. No idea where it's at. Frisco? I
thought it was in San Francisco.
Frisco, San Francisco. That's because you're illiterate. Anyways,
what's up with all these crazy names, man? Why are they taking away long-standing traditional names like the Sun Bowl and replacing it with a Tony the Tiger Bowl?
Because they got to have sponsors, man. It's all
exactly
about cashola.
Yeah, I know, but man, you don't have to put the sponsorship on there like that. It could be like the Sugar Bowl used to do. It'd be like the Sugar Bowl brought to you by Allstate. Instead of taking away the Sun Bowl, man, that's a traditional name. It's been around since the 1930s.
I agree with you, man.
Frisco's in North Dallas. It's basically in North Dallas. That's why, by the way. I think it's near Arlington.
Yeah, one of the new bowls is the Arizona Bowl. I think that's what they call it.
Yeah, they're getting original now.
Barstool, Arizona. Barstool is the sponsor of it. And it's got Central Michigan and let me see. I just saw it. It's actually like played on like New Year's Day or something.
Ooh, Central Michigan. I'm tuning in for that one.
If y'all want to do some good gambling, we can go to Shreveport and watch BYU play UAB.
Yeah, UAB is going to stump a mud hole in them.
Be the acronym bowl.
UAB. I've got that down. Oh, what game do you think will be the biggest blowout, JPC?
Biggest blowout?
Realistically, don't give me some UAB versus BYU or something like that. Don't give me an actual Power 5 team.
I don't have the
scapegoat.
entire list in front of me here. All I got some notes on.
You're unprepared. You want me to start? You want me to go? Because I can tell you right now, it's probably going to be one of the biggest blowouts. And you guys are going to hate the answer. And I know everybody out there will too. Do you want me to go, JPC? I'll take your place.
Go for it.
Daddy can step in and take care of his children. So, anyways, it's going to be Baylor blowing out Ole Miss.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, Baylor has a defense. They have a semblance of a defense.
Yeah. So did Georgia. Georgia had a semblance.
Oh, we're doing this game comparison crap, aren't we? With something you preach against, we're going to sit here and do. Really?
No, I'm just saying.
Baylor,
I'm just saying this ain't no comparing scores. I'm comparing defense versus offense.
Here we go. Baylor has a defense. Ole Miss does not have a defense. Plain and simple. Matt Corral will most likely not play in this game. He's already declaring for the NFL draft.
Ole Miss's defense been playing better.
Bro, I'm telling you. And no, you're just trying to stir me up. I know what you're doing. Matt Corral is most likely going to sit out this game.
No.
He's preparing for the NFL draft. Shut your mouth for 5 seconds. That's what's going to happen. Most likely, the stars of this show are going to be Ely, and maybe, I don't know, man, Drum, the receiver from Ole Miss. Bro, I'm telling you, Baylor is going to blow Ole Miss out. Watch. Baylor's going to come to play. Aranda's got that team ready. If Matt Corral doesn't show up because he's going to go prepare for the NFL draft, good luck. So.
Well, I know mine.
What is it?
Ole Miss is going to blow out Baylor.
Oh, here we go. Here we freaking. No, give me your serious. Here, let me.
That's it.
No, it's not.
For what? Now you got to give me a reason, JPC. You're not getting off that easy.
Because Ole Miss's offense is that much better than Baylor's offense.
Yeah,
they're not going to be able to catch. They're not going to be able to keep up.
Yeah, but who at quarterback? Who's Matt Corral's backup when he doesn't play?
You think he ain't going to play?
I don't think he's going to play.
Really?
Yes, there's already players opting out of these games. By the way,
I don't think Matt Corral would do that.
Yeah, because Lane Kiffin teaches loyalty, right? And expects the top tier from his players. Ask Tennessee, ask USC, ask Vegas, or I guess it went to Vegas. Ask Oakland, ask all those cats about it. So, anyways, that's my honest pick is going to be. I honestly do believe that.
That's a good one. I wouldn't have picked that one, but now if Matt Corral doesn't play, it will definitely change the landscape of the game.
If Matt Corral doesn't play, yeah, but I think he'll play.
Let me look it up. I want to see if he's playing. I hope he's already said he's not playing. I'm going to Google this. Matt.
My blowout game, I was going to pick BYU over UAB, but Johnathan ruined that one for me. So
I knew it was coming. I knew there was one of those coming. Don't even get me started with that.
He's a thunder stealer, man. He's always stealing somebody's thunder.
Mississippi State's going to blow out Texas Tech.
I can see that. I can see that.
Mississippi State. Texas Tech's defense is not good, and they're 6-6. I mean, we should have beat them, but our guys just didn't show up for the first half of the game. I mean, we were down 17-0 at halftime and still almost won. And Mike Leach will put up points on Texas Tech, and Texas Tech I don't think's got. I mean, they probably don't even know who their quarterback's going to be at this point. They went through every quarterback on their roster with the injuries and everything else. But they got the new coach. I just don't see them having much of a chance. But I could be wrong.
Hey,
all kidding aside, I'm not trying to do this to aggravate nobody, Jonathan, but San Diego State looked like shit in their championship game.
They did
against Utah State. So it would not surprise me if your guys at UTSA blew those guys out.
Yeah, I could see that. UTSA winning out, by the way.
And how would you like to be SMU and Virginia having to go to Fenway Park in Boston in cold weather?
That doesn't surprise.
Or like West Virginia had to do one year, go to Yankee Stadium. We had to play a bowl game in the snow.
Who's the Pinstripe Bowl this year?
Yeah, and our guys, Geno Smith and Tavon Austin, said we don't want to go to New York. We want to go to Florida. They said it in public. We don't want to go there.
The Pinstripe Bowl has
garbage.
Maryland
got blown out because they didn't want to be there.
Maryland and Virginia Tech. Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. It's Maryland and Virginia
Tech.
Maryland
and Virginia Tech. Now, that's a pretty blah bowl for me.
I don't – it'll be interesting to watch.
That's because you got a man crush on Tunga Viola's brother there.
So you don't even know his name. It's Talia Tagovailoa, first of
You
all.
know, because it sucks.
Well, he did throw.
He looked good first half of the season, man. Before I don't know what happened to him. He just
the
fell
first
off.
3 games until they played Iowa, and he had 5 interceptions.
Yeah, he played great against. He played great against us, man.
Yeah, he did. He had like 5 touchdowns against you guys or something like that.
Did. Of course, we handed him the ball back 4 times. That didn't help.
Yeah, well, I mean, anytime that happens.
But all right, what of all the New Year's 6 games besides the CFP games? Well, heck, you can talk. I don't care. CFP games can be included in this conversation. What do you think about what's the one bowl game you want to watch of all of them? Of all the major bowl games, what's the one game that's really got you most excited?
JPC, I'll let you start on this one.
Well, I mean, you talking about the college football playoff included?
Yeah, he's saying any of them.
Any of them.
I mean, I'm be interested to see how Georgia bounces back against Michigan. Michigan's got a pretty good run game, and they sort of mirror each other, actually. I'm interested to see because, Kirby's already talking that smack after the game, talking about this is our wake-up call, and now we're going to get for real. I'm like, really? So the SEC championship don't mean anything, right? So I'm just going to be interested to see if Georgia can bounce back.
All right. So do we only give one, or do I give a couple?
You can give a couple if you want.
No, I guess I'll give my main one. Probably, as crazy as this may sound, I'm interested to watch Arkansas versus Penn State. I'm interested to see how Sam Pittman gets this team put together to play at Penn State. And because Penn State looked good this year, they had their moments. KJ Jefferson's kind of proven himself. Sean Clifford's kind of been up and down. Noah Kane, the running back for Penn State, has been down all season when I thought he was going to be decent. I know it's not a very intriguing, it's not a splash game. When you're talking about moving into the next season, I feel like with Penn State with a top 5 recruiting class, with Arkansas with one of their best recruiting classes in years, and by the way, they just picked up the transfer Hazelwood from Oklahoma, which was the #1 wide receiver coming out of high school a couple of years ago. It's going to be really interesting to see how this plays into the recruiting role following after the bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot to me involved in this game.
Yeah.
But I'll say that one, and I'll give you one more. I guess because there's a couple on here I actually really like. Utah versus Ohio State.
Interesting, yes.
That's an interesting game because my gut says Utah will not be able to stop the receivers. But Utah does have a decent defense. They have actually a pretty good pass defense. And I think it's going to tell us how good C.J. Stroud really is. So, I don't know. I just like the intrigue of the game.
Yeah, I like that one. I'll tell you the one game that obviously I already said the the Baylor Ole Miss game intrigues me, but another one that intrigues me is Pitt, Michigan State.
Yeah.
Because Michigan State has almost no pass defense. I think they're worst in the country, if I'm not mistaken, statistically.
They're down near the bottom.
So, but now here's the kicker. Does Kenny Pickett actually play in the game? Who knows? Being a New Year's 6 bowl, he might. But if he plays, I think Pitt beats Michigan State. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question about Kenny Pickett?
Yeah.
Sure. What's up with the fake slide, man?
Dude, they got to do a rule change on that.
That's pretty much, man. That's trash. I didn't expect that from him, man. That really, I lost a lot of respect for him.
Shut up.
No,
you wouldn't take advantage of a rule?
No, man. No, if you're going to slide, man, that means they can't hit you. They got to pull up. If you're going to slide, they got to pull up and they can't touch you because if you do, they're going to call a penalty. Oh, that's trash, man.
My guess is it was a spur of the moment instant decision that he made. I don't think he pre-planned that. And I have no issue if I had no issue with him doing it, but I do have an issue with the rule. They need to change the rule.
Yeah, there needs to be a rule change, but I'm not going to hate on Kenny Pickett for taking advantage of a rule, just like cornerbacks take advantage of grabbing the back of the jersey against the ref's back. They do it all game, every game, but nobody wants to complain about that either.
Mm-hmm.
That was trash play, man.
So it's smart. You want to win a game?
You want to
win a game?
And it's hard to I can't imagine how hard that was to do to be running full speed. And like you're going, and he almost went down, and to actually stop your momentum and come back up like that. That was pretty impressive.
Athleticism.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty
impressive.
But I mean, like I said, I think it's pretty crappy. But as far as the rule, but don't hate the player, hate the game.
I like it. I'm glad. I wish he would do it every time.
I hope he gets injured. I hope he gets injured next time he does it, man.
Why are you gonna wish injury upon somebody?
If he does it again,
man, he wants to be trash. I'm gonna treat him like trash.
But even though I hate to say nice things about a Pitt player, I got to give him his due there. I like his comment by Crypt Keeper. It's true living in Texas. You only have three. You have three gods: Jesus, Coach Landry, and George Strait.
Well, depends on who you are. I'm not from Texas, so no.
You're from Alabama originally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I any other games you guys think are just general discussion purposes? Any other games y'all think?
Oh, there's a great game out there. LSU and Kansas State. Let me tell you about this game. They need to literally not air this game. It should be radio only. And it should be AM radio.
I got a question about the Heisman Trophy.
Oh, Bryce Young's locked that up.
Oh, I know. But what I'm talking about is Aiden Hutchinson getting invited and Will Anderson didn't.
Oh, you're
I know I'm an Alabama fan, but this ain't got nothing to do with me being an Alabama fan. You look at the stats.
Okay.
You look at the overall picture. Will Anderson should have been there over Aiden Hutchinson.
He did it in the biggest rivalry game in America on national television. Had his best game. To me, that's the only reason. I'm not saying I agree with you, JPC. He's not. There are other defensive players as good as him out there that aren't getting the same amount of hype.
Will Anderson's one of them. There's a couple out there.
Anderson's one of them. There's a kid from Kansas State that's having a great year, and a Duke Ozama. Yep. But because he plays for Kansas State, nobody knows who he is.
Hell, there's another player on Michigan that's not getting the credit. Joby or whatever his name is, the other guy that has 11 sacks on the season and is like fourth in tackles, something like that. I mean, he's not getting the love either, and he's on Hutchinson's team. Yeah,
I don't know. It's media falls in love with these guys, certain guys for some reason, and like they have a certain guy that they decide they want this guy to win the Heisman. I've never understood it.
Hey, since Kenny Pickett's good at faking things, he could fake like he's going to go up there and get the Heisman Trophy and then pull up.
Oh, here we go. I'll be honest with you. I'm putting Brennan Armstrong over Kenny Pickett at the Heisman ceremony. Look at the number. You want to talk about numbers and analytics? Brennan Armstrong. And I'll give you this, JPC. Will Anderson's leading the nation in sacks and tackles for loss.
That's what I'm saying.
Categories. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy that he didn't even get an invite. That I'm not going to lie. That's kind of – they just don't want two players from the same team. That's all it is. I'm telling you now, they don't want to deal with people complaining. That's what it all comes down to.
It is. It's fatigue.
Yep.
Who goes first, Kenny or Desmond or the kid from Greenbow, Alabama, Young in the NFL draft?
Oh, right now, Bryce Young is setting national records right now.
Well, is he even eligible for the draft yet?
No, he's not. No, he's not eligible next year. Neither is Will Anderson. So you got two extremely talented Alabama players coming back next year in that aspect. Now, Desmond, Desmond
Ritter, I'm assuming.
Desmond Ritter. There, thank you, Jesus. First of all, Desmond Ritter is not a first round quarterback. Let's get that straight right away. He's a system quarterback, and it's very well known. It's the same reason why the Wake Forest quarterback will not be a first rounder. He's labeled in that same category, unfortunately. He thrives in a system, but he has very few NFL pro style attributes. Plain and simple. I mean, Pickett's hands down to me should be the obvious pick as far as quarterbacks being taken.
I think perfect example is that if you take West Virginia has had two top early draft, well, I say early, two Heisman contending quarterbacks in the past decade. Both
White.
Well, no, in the last decade, Geno Smith and Will Grier. Geno's had a long NFL career as a backup. I mean, so that's respectable. But neither one of them have met expectations, and I think it's because they played in Dana Holgerson's system.
Yeah, it's a system.
It's like playing for Mike Leach. Every quarterback that plays for Mike Leach is going to have gaudy numbers. I mean, you look at Geno's broken records at West Virginia; they'll probably never be touched. He's thrown for like 12,000 yards or some ungodly number. 11, almost 12,000 yards.
He was there 4 years too, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Well, he started 3 and played a little bit. He came in some mop-up duty as a freshman a few games.
3 1/4, I guess you could say something like that.
I mean, he did get some game action as a freshman.
Mike Leach wasn't there when Patrick Mahomes was there, right?
No.
No.
That was Kingsbury, right?
Yep. Cliff Kingsbury.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. You can take this a lot of different ways. I think Pickett's the obvious pick to be the first quarterback taken. If you're talking about anybody else that's going to be eligible outside of Pickett, I don't. Sam Howell needs to come back. Sam Howell, he was supposed to be the guy. He was supposed to be the obvious number one pick. That didn't pan out for him at all this year. He just got, I don't know what the hell happened to him in a year, but he looks terrible. Pickett, then you got obviously Wake Forest. I'm trying to think of all the eligible. Matt Corral's going to have to be up there. I think he's a system style quarterback too. I do think he is, but I think that he has a lot more. He can read a defense a lot better, right? So I think a lot of people can agree with that as far as his IQ between the ears on reading the defense. I don't know who. There's not a lot. This is a weak QB class. Yeah. Super weak in my opinion.
I've heard a lot of people mention that this is one of the weaker classes in recent memory.
Yeah. I mean,
what do you guys think about the whole Quinn Ewers transfer thing? You heard about that, right?
He's collecting the money, bro. And okay, where do you think he's going to go? I got a surprise take on that.
Now, where's he from? Where's he from?
He's from Texas.
Texas. He'll probably go to Texas.
JPC, what do you think?
I'm hearing rumors he might go to one of the Texas schools, but I'm hearing Texas Tech.
Ding, 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 ding.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know why though?
Wow.
NIL money. Texas Tech has sponsors and boosters offering to bring him on board for NIL deals.
He's racking up on NIL deals.
Yep.
He earned $3 million and took 3 snaps.
Well, here's the thing about the whole NIL thing that I haven't figured out yet. Maybe you guys know this, and I don't even know if anybody knows the answer to this yet. What happens to a kid like that who signs his NIL deals? Like Spencer Rattler, for example, he had deals with local car dealerships, local guys.
Yeah.
Does he lose that deal when he leaves?
So he just gives the cars back. They actually made it known what was going to happen.
They did.
He's just giving the car backs. That's all it is. He wasn't getting cash from them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They just gave him a car and he was like a spokesperson.
Exactly. So Quinn Ewers was super smart when he went to Ohio State. I think he went to Ohio State on purpose and knew what was going to happen. Here's why I think it was smart. GT Athletics, who is like the major autograph signing company for all of Panini and big card holders, they're based and ran from basically Ohio, right by Ohio State, by the way. He got up there, signs a $1.4 million deal with him right away. You know what I mean? And the great thing about this contract with NIL, because it's an autographed contract, in other words, it's just for his autographs. He doesn't have to stay at Ohio State. He can go anywhere he wants.
He went on a long field trip.
Yep, that's exactly what he did. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't stupid. He got up there, collected.
He's taking a tour. He's going on tour, man.
Exactly. So now he goes down to Texas Tech. He collects supposedly, rumored, at another $1.2 million on top of that.
Wow.
This kid's going to reach $3 million before he even takes a snap of a football.
Well, I was going to talk trash about the kid for leaving high school early, but now I kind of don't blame him.
He's a businessman. Let's be real.
Yeah, because his family ain't wanting for money.
Nope, they got
They're
money.
not.
No, they're pretty well off. So I guess he could go to UTSA next. Maybe, I got some big corporate sponsors down there, don't you, Jonathan?
We're at UT. There is actually some really, really, really big sponsors down here. No, I'm not even joking. Valero actually did a deal with a bunch of UTSA players out here. They basically give a check to all the players. So I don't know if you know this, but Valero Energy, who does also the fuel and everything else, is stationed out of San Antonio. Yeah, I was hoping Keeper would pin on that, man. He basically called me out saying that Desmond Ridder was going to be good. I had to poke a little bit of fun at you, man. No, it's because Bryce Young isn't available for the draft this year. So,
yeah.
But so
I don't know what you. I don't. Yeah, Creeper, I'm having a hard time. He said spell check is a killer. I don't know what he's trying to say there, but anyway,
he's probably typing 100 miles an hour like I
he
do.
is. It gets me all the time too.
Yeah.
Basically, what he's saying is, shut up. Desmond Ridder's going to be a good quarterback. That's way I took it.
Yeah.
Well, he made a nice little prediction about the Texas tennis team too, didn't he?
Texas tennis team?
Yeah, he said something about the Texas men's tennis team.
I
Thanks to their football team.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean,
he was saying that Texas has got a football team that thinks they're a football team, and they're just.
I got you. I mean, I'm not a Texas fan, so I wouldn't know anything about it.
I wonder if he's talking about UTSA. I bet he's talking about UTSA. I bet
I don't know.
No, he said Texas.
Do you know that? Do you know that UTSA has been ranked, or not UTSA? Do you know that? Actually, yeah, it would be the college we were just talking about the other day, JPC. Oh my gosh, Randolph Airfield has been ranked in the AP Top 25 more than Cincinnati. So if you take out this year,
is it not pretty funny that Ohio State's main rival is in the playoffs and a team from their state is in the playoffs? Does that not suck for Ohio State?
It is what it is.
Don't y'all feel sorry for the Buckeyes?
A little bit. I call them the useless nuts.
That's great, man. I'm about to come on and feel that.
That's about what what else is a Buckeye, right?
All right, so I got to get your take on this then too. Oklahoma State's playing Notre Dame. I can't stand Notre Dame.
I hate them.
I think they're overrated. They're trash. Everything I despise is at Notre Dame, hands down.
I agree.
Oklahoma State, I hope they beat them by 70 points with no remorse. I hope Gundy just plants the flag and drags their heads across the field with it at this point. So
for me, Notre Dame is the most unknown top 5 team out there because I don't even know who their quarterback is or their running back or any of the defensive players.
It's because y'all help me out. Jack Cohn is their quarterback. I'll give you that. They've been rotating running backs because of injuries, it seems like, half the season, just like their offensive linemen. They do have the best safety in the country, hands down, Kyle Hamilton. He's amazing. Outside of Hamilton, bro, I can't stand anything about Notre Dame. I think they're overrated like every single year. They get into the playoffs, they get in, they get skull dragged like everybody's going to predict. And finally, I thought the committee would wake up. And no, they still put these guys. I get it, they have one loss. But what the hell is impressive on their resume? They lost to Cincinnati.
One game. The only game that's halfway impressive, which stopped being impressive after they got beat by Minnesota, was Wisconsin.
Exactly. So, I mean, I guess the best thing on the resume is only losing by Cincinnati by what, like 8 points or something like that?
Now, they did beat Wisconsin pretty handily. They blew them out, but still, Wisconsin's been up and down. I mean, they're playing in some crappy bowl, too.
A lot of people don't realize that actually Notre Dame trailed that game going into the fourth quarter, and they just blew it in the fourth.
Exactly.
It was 13-10 at the end of the third quarter. They scored 31 points in the fourth quarter.
Do you want to know my most unintriguing New Year's Bowl?
What?
This is going to be a great one. Iowa versus Kentucky.
Oh, yeah. I saw
Iowa.
that.
Iowa has one of the worst defenses I think I've ever seen in a Power 5 program. Do what?
You mean offenses, right?
Yeah, offense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Iowa cannot move the ball.
Sounds like a Sweet 16 game in the NCAA tournament to me.
Yeah. It's horrible, man. I did the Michigan versus Iowa prediction. I got slammed by Iowa fans because I said, look, Iowa can't move the ball. They're like 109th in rushing and like 115th in passing. The best thing they going for them is special teams. Their defense is pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty good. Unfortunately, is Kentucky actually has a pretty good defense, and they actually have an offense. So I think this game can surprise a lot of people and get out of hand pretty quick because Will Levis can throw the ball. Chris Rodriguez Jr. is probably the third best running back in the SEC. He's a top tier running back in the nation. So I don't know. I think this can be a very I wouldn't be surprised if Kentucky blows Iowa out. So
yeah, I wouldn't either. I got some back. I did a Penn State Iowa preview when they played each other earlier in the year.
Yeah,
and I picked Penn State to win the game, and their fans went bananas.
Yeah, they have a lot of fans on YouTube.
No, they did win the game, but it was only had Penn State's quarterback not been injured, they would not have won that game. There's no way.
Of course.
You're a West Virginia guy, so let me ask you this: if West Virginia loses to Minnesota in this bowl game, does that affect how Neil Brown's outlook is going forward?
For me, it doesn't. But for half of our fan base, every time we lose a game, they want him fired.
Dude, it's all over. I hate it. All over
It's
Twitter.
ridiculous.
Fire Neil Brown. They got the hashtag out there, Fire Neil Brown. They need to relax, man. This dude's 41 years old.
Yeah, that's what me and Golden Blue Dude and the Mountaineer Effect, all of us West Virginia YouTubers are all of us agree that it's ridiculousness to be saying that. But it's like talking to a wall.
I think you get that with every fan base to some
They
extent.
do. It's like that everywhere. And we've lost 20 guys to the transfer portal, which is like the top most in the country.
Oh, wow.
And our fans are up in arms about that. They all blame that on Neil Brown. But what we just had a guy, a fifth-year senior, leave. Announce he's going to the transfer portal. A fifth-year senior who's already graduated, and fans are pissed off at him. I'm like,
that's pretty typical, though.
It is typical. And look at how many guys we've gotten as grad transfers that have helped us.
Yeah.
If we're going to accept grad transfers and accept them in part of the Mountaineer family, you got to be. You got to get. It has to go both ways. You've got to let guys leave and go finish their career somewhere else without bashing them. But
everybody can't play, man. You don't have to. Transfer portal's getting crazy. Alabama's even lost players to the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Jerome Ford's starting running back for Cincinnati, and he used to be here at Alabama.
Yep.
It ended up being a great move for him.
Yeah, he'll get drafted because of going to Cincinnati, hands down.
And
exactly.
You look at what coaches do. So shouldn't players be allowed to do it too?
Yeah, exactly. That's my biggest thing, man. I hate when people bash the players or bash the coaches. I'm like, look, first of all, it starts at the top. If the administration can just fire a coach in the middle of a season, who is an administration to tell a player to stick around? Because of their 1 year, their year-to-year scholarship. Most people think it's a 4-year lock or something. No, it's year-to-year. The administration can fire the coaches anytime they want. Coaches can remove the players that actually easily show them the door, just like, oh my gosh, what's his name? Michigan State head coach Mel Tucker did with his team. Like 35% of the team last year, he pulled up their scholarships and told them to hit the door for the culture change move that he did.
Yeah.
And you're about to see the same thing probably happen at Florida with Billy Napier.
I lost a lot of respect for Dabo Swinney when he come out bashing the players about the NIL deal.
Yeah.
And he's making $10 million a year, and he's talking all this noise about, well, I'll just go to the NFL and coach if this NIL stuff passes. And we see he's still at Clemson.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, nobody likes it, but Neil Brown's answer to that is always, it has evolved and we've got to adjust and evolve with it. Actually, Neil Brown, with him being a young guy, I think that's actually a good thing because I think he sort of can relate to the players a little easier.
Yep.
And he's also an out of the box thinker, so he can, and I'm sure he understands, and he's probably he's trying to find ways to use NIL to our advantage, even though we're a smaller school or as far as a smaller state school. They're being creative and trying to find, like, you drive through West Virginia, almost every billboard has a picture of a West Virginia player on it. There's a law firm out there that has got West Virginia players on their billboards all throughout the state. So just things like that he's doing, that they're doing to try to be creative. But I think if our fans will be patient with him, he's going to turn us around. I really do.
All right, so I got a question then for both you and JPC on this one then. I feel like this doesn't get talked about enough. So when you can go look at the budget for West Virginia, I'm sure it's nowhere near what it would be for like an Alabama, Ohio State, all of them, right? Because the money coming in.
Right.
Sometimes this blows my mind. Sometimes I don't understand the expectations of fans at schools that don't go all in, right, on football. I think it's a pretty fair assessment to say. But expect the same results, or at least close to it. So I'll use West Virginia, for example. You bring in Neil Brown. West Virginia is not going to be able to land a Lincoln Riley. I think we can all agree upon that, right?
Yes.
I mean, I think that's just being realistic here. I just don't understand why people can't bring in a Neil Brown, let him sit for 5, 6, 7 years, give the guy time, you know what I mean, to actually win something. Because I don't think, as a West Virginia fan, do you expect to win a national championship in the next 2 to 3 years?
No. I just want to win one in my lifetime.
Well,
I want one national championship before I take my last breath. That's all I want.
Sometimes if you're patient, though, even though your team's not been known for winning national championships and you're patient and let it ride out, you might have a situation like Dabo Swinney at Clemson.
Yeah.
And Clemson hadn't won a national championship since 1981. They bring him in. He has a couple of 8-4 seasons. They ride it out a little bit, and you see what you get when you're patient and let a guy build a program.
Yeah, and I think back to your point, Jonathan. I think a lot of it, and I don't mean to. I'm not trying to bash people or talk down, but I think. I mean, I live and breathe college football and college. I mean, that's what I do. I pretty much all my free time is spent reading, listening to podcasts, all this stuff. That's the reason I decided to do this. But I think a lot of fans probably are not that knowledgeable about how these programs work. And they probably don't understand that it starts at the top, like you're talking about. Perfect example. Everybody craps on Rich Rodriguez for leaving the way he did, okay? And I did too for a long time.
Yeah.
But now that I've heard his side of the story, I don't do it anymore. According to him, all he asked for, number one, when he almost left for Alabama, which he claims he didn't almost leave, that was I think his agent done that to get him more money, to be honest. But anyway, as an Alabama fan, you might feel differently, but that's a topic for another day. But then he come back and then he left the following year to go to Michigan. Well, he claims that the administration promised him things, and then when he was going to go to Alabama, well, then when the Michigan job come open, they reneged on some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Number one. And then two, he said, all I wanted was $50,000 more a year to pay my assistant coaches. That's it. And he said, not $50,000 per coach. I wanted $50,000 for the entire assistant coaches pool. And they wouldn't give it to me.
Jimbo Fisher at Florida State.
Yes, exact same thing. I know a guy who's personal friends with Jimbo Fisher. Hangs out with him. Hangs out on the sidelines at games. He was that close to coming to West Virginia before he went to Texas A&M. $1 million kept him from coming to West Virginia because they weren't willing to pay him $5 million a year.
Rodriguez wasn't a bad coach at West Virginia. You look at his record; he almost got y'all in the national championship game.
He did.
Without Pitt taking a shit on y'all in that one game.
Right.
Y'all would have played for the national championship that year against Ohio State instead of a 2-loss LSU team. So it's not like he was a bad coach. He just got put in some bad situations. And he went to Michigan, and you still had Lloyd Carr there messing around in the backdrop, just like Phil Fulmer, just like Bob Stoops. You're just gonna have to get these guys out of there, man. I mean, I know they've done some great things for you, but they're not your coach anymore. So I feel like Rich Rodriguez gets a bad rap, just like you said.
He does, and look, people are mad at the way he left because he said he didn't ever want to leave, and that was where he wanted to be. But he was not getting along with the administration. Him and the administration was not seeing eye to eye. They weren't willing to go. They were not willing to invest into the football program what they needed to invest for him to win consistently, and that's all he asked for.
Yep.
And they weren't willing to. I mean, they weren't. And I kind of don't blame him for being upset and leaving. To be honest, if that's really how it happened. Now the administration claims that ain't how it happened, so you don't know who to believe. But now, of course, we got a different administration now. But Rodriguez, he's got actually has his own podcast now called Hard Edge Football, and he told the story about Michigan.
Yeah,
he was never accepted at Michigan. The boosters never wanted him from the get-go. He said when he went to his first banquet, the boosters weren't coming up to him, welcoming him to Michigan. They didn't come up and say, "Hey, welcome. We're glad to have you here." They come up and said, "How many are you going to win? Can you beat Ohio State?" I mean, he said some of them even looked at him and said, "We didn't want you as our coach." I mean, it was just they were not. From day one, he knew it was going to be a hard road because everybody wasn't pulling in the same direction.
Michigan was still split between Lloyd Carr loyalists who didn't want Lloyd Carr fired.
Yep.
But that Appalachian State game done it for his ass.
Yeah, you lose to Appalachian State. Look, if you were ever on a hot seat, it's on fire at that point. Literally.
They were all clamoring for a Michigan man, what they call a Michigan man, and he wasn't. But then they hired Brady Hoke, who won with Rich Rodriguez as players.
You can't go along on alumnus alone as your criteria for hiring. I mean, you used to ask Alabama fans how that worked out for us.
Mike Shula.
With Mike Dubose and Mike Shula.
Oh yeah, Dubose too. Yeah, I forgot about him. Sorry.
Yeah, you can't rely on that. But I don't know. It just wasn't a good. He said it was just wasn't not a good fit for him. The administration, the boosters, the coaching staff weren't all on the same page, and it just. He said if you don't have everybody on the same page, it doesn't work.
And that's correct. If you don't have, you want a prime example of that? Look at Florida. Florida's administration was going in 15 different directions with Dan Mullen.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's wondering, like, really? Because, Dan Mullen went 10-2 his first season when he got to Florida. And you know what I mean? He was only there 4 years. Technically, we'll say 3 years and 3/4, right? Wins 10 games the first year. Their defense looked legit with Todd Grantham, 18 and 19. Fell off in 20, right? And all that. But the administration wanted no part of Dan Mullen coming to them saying, I want more money for recruiting. None of it. And I love the fact that Billy Napier made that a point when he showed up and said, my recruiting budget will be at least third in the SEC.
Yeah.
So
we give Dan Mullen a hard time, but I don't think that we should really give Dan Mullen as hard a time as we've been giving him. Like you said, he come within a possession of beating Alabama for the SEC title.
He doesn't lose his game.
And thrown a stupid ass thrown shoe in the LSU game of being undefeated going into the SEC title game. So basically, he come just 2 plays away from actually playing for the national title.
Yeah, he had the backing of no one. Dan Mullen had no backing whatsoever. But at the same time, to be fair, he surrounded himself with a bunch of yes men with assistants and coaches. Todd Grantham was that guy. Todd Grantham worked for Dan Mullen before already. You know what I mean? And Todd Grantham was horrible. He should have been fired in 2020. There's no doubt about it. The defense looked lost the entire year. We'll even say at the beginning of 2021, it was no different. But because he didn't release him, I think the administration said this is our chance. Because this guy can't get rid of one of his buddies on the defensive side when they're horrible. We're just going to cut him, and then we're going to cut you later on. Yeah. Horrible, man.
Yeah, that was part of Dana Holgerson's problem when he first got here. He hired a bunch of his buddies.
Yep. That was Mullen.
And he put one of them on as defensive coordinator. And guy was terrible. Our defense was terrible. And so then he got demoted. The next season, he demoted him to special team coach or something. And then after that, he ended up leaving to go somewhere else. But you can't hire your buddies, man. I mean,
no, you can't.
I'm not saying it never works, but
I've always wondered what would happen if y'all kept that. Was his last name Franklin? He was an older guy that died on the golf course.
Oh, Bill Stewart.
Yeah, that's it. Bill Stewart. If y'all had kept Bill Stewart, I think y'all would have been all right, man. If he hadn't, of course, he died. But
he died after he'd already got let go.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If he hadn't got fired, maybe he doesn't have that heart attack. Maybe he ain't stressed out. I don't know, but
right.
I just thought Bill Stewart was a good guy.
He was a great guy, and he lived and breathed West Virginia football. He was a West Virginia through and through, man. But that was one of those hires we were talking about earlier. You can't let coaches or you can't let players make your hiring decisions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rodriguez had left. He came in, coached us in that big bowl win against Oklahoma, huge upset. National television, Pat White, who's a star.
Yep.
One of the most famous player in West Virginia history outside of Major Harris.
Yeah, I remember him.
Gets on national television and says, Bill Stewart needs to be our next football coach. 3 or 4 o'clock that morning in the hotel room, he signs a contract to become head coach. So I don't know. We finished the next year. We entered the season ranked in the top 10, and we ended up finishing 9-4, which was underachieving because we still had Pat White back. We had Noel Devine run it back.
Oh, I remember that dude was a monster.
We were loaded, man. We did lose Steve Slayton, but Noel Devine was just as good as Slayton was, or at least close. So we really didn't lose that. And we did lose that big fullback, Owen Schmidt, the runaway beer truck, as they call him. But we were expected to compete for national championship again, and we finished 9-4. So a lot of people got upset with Stewart about that. But my personal opinion, Bill Stewart was a great guy and a great recruiter. But he wasn't. I just don't think he was head coach material, personally.
Yeah, I can't speak too much on that. JPC, you followed West Virginia a lot more than I have. So
like I said, JPC was right about it. He was a great human being, and they done him wrong the way they did him wrong in my opinion. The way they were Oliver Luck come in and tried to bring in. He wanted Dana Holgorsen because he and Dana knew each other from when Oliver Luck worked for the Major League Soccer organization in Houston.
Yeah,
and he wanted Dana, so he was going to bring Dana in as offensive coordinator for one season with head coaching waiting title. Well, Stewart was going to leave after 1 year. Well, you can't do that to a guy who doesn't want to leave. Stewart didn't want to leave. He wasn't leaving on his own accord. So
yeah,
he's not going to go for that. Well, the next thing you know, rumors start flying around about Dana Holgorsen getting in trouble and all this stuff, and then it came out that Bill Stewart leaked it to the media to get Dana in trouble to try to get him fired. So it was just all a bunch of controversy. And then Stewart ended up just going ahead and stepping down instead of coaching his last year. He stepped down. Of course, we ended up beating Clemson in the Orange Bowl that year, so it worked out. But
yep.
But yeah, it was just a big mess, man. And
that West Virginia ass whooping that they give Clemson.
You didn't beat Clemson.
I'm surprised you could say that nonchalantly like that. I'm just like, man, that was record-setting bowl.
Yeah,
it was. But JPC, look where Clemson is now compared to us.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That game,
cling on to it.
That game right there made Dabo Swinney recognize, hey, I need to have at least an average defense, or I'm going to get embarrassed.
Yeah,
I don't think Lincoln Riley ever got that, and we're going to see how he fares out in California.
Yeah, Oklahoma's defense has gotten better though than it was.
They have, but improving from 113th to 79th. I'm not going to give you that much credit. Now, Alex Grinch isn't a horrible defense coordinator. I think it's a mistake that he went out there to USC. I think that's Lincoln Riley's mistake, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. I like the guy kind of at Oklahoma, and everybody said give him time. I don't know how much damn time you need, but wasn't he on year 3?
Grinch, I think so. I think
well,
it was yeah, their offensive line.
Saving grace for
go ahead.
Saving grace for Lincoln Riley may be the fact that Mario Cristobal left Oregon. Maybe that's another thing. Me and Jonathan's talked about this one guy a lot. Oregon needs to look at the guy that handed them their ass twice this year.
Yeah,
Oregon
Kyle
should go out and hire Kyle Whittingham.
Yes.
That's who Oregon should hire, is Kyle Whittingham.
I agree.
Yeah, mentioning that, by the way, 3 of the top Oregon recruits just decommitted. Just came across my phone a second ago.
Woo.
Guess where they're expected to go?
USC.
Miami.
Ooh, oh, okay. Duh.
Following Cristobal. See, here's the thing I was going to actually talk to you guys about, and I forgot. Have we gotten away? Are we at a point in time now with college football to where mainly, we'll say most of the recruits now, they commit to the coach and not to the organization or the university? I think that's been going on for a long time. Okay.
I think that's been going on for a long time.
All right. So there you go. So, I mean, I feel like back in the day, though, right? JBC, you're older than I am, man. Back in the day, though, that wasn't always the case, right? It was like, I'm going to Alabama because of Alabama, not because of the coach, right? I think it's kind of really. I thought it was.
I think a lot of players probably came to Alabama to play for Bear Bryant, and as you saw when Bear Bryant left, we started slipping a little bit. Then Gene Stallings came in, won a national title. Gene Stallings did, and Gene just couldn't get with it on the offensive side of the ball, man. So he ended up getting forced out eventually.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, Florida's going to be a hell of a place to try to recruit now. Cristobal's a hell of a recruiter. You got Billy Napier, who's a hell of a recruiter. You obviously got Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, like all these people that are great. Even Josh Heupel's actually a pretty good damn recruiter. Sam Pittman is now getting transfers over that are like 4- and 5-star players. Florida's going to be almost impossible to recruit in now. It's going to be a bloodbath for everybody down there.
Yeah, because UCF's recruiting is going to pick up. Definitely.
And Florida State looked like they improved towards the end of the year.
Yeah, I was bashing Norville at the beginning of the season, man. I was like, this guy's trash. Florida State's a dumpster fire. They just need to scrap the program altogether.
Yeah.
Just put a knight on the helmet. UCF will move him down a little bit.
I think I can't believe I think Manny Diaz needed another year in Miami. I really do.
I mean, what was his record? I got to look this up.
But you can't. I mean, if they had a chance to get Mario Cristobal, though, I guess they couldn't pass it up.
No, they couldn't.
But
that's a good
the way
point.
they did it, man, was just
one of these mid-tier.
There's no ethics anymore, man. I mean, what happened to ethics?
One of these mid-tier programs ought to take a chance on Manny Diaz. Maybe the Louisiana job for Manny. He'd go over to Louisiana and just cut his teeth again like Billy Napier did. Or you can bring him up here to the Saban car wash and we'll wash him up.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Saban car wash. I like that. I'm looking up their schedule. So their schedule. So bringing up, here we go. The Hurricane schedule here, right? So they won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They won 7 games. They won 5 out of the last 6. And they actually beat a ranked NC State team. They beat ranked Pitt team. Yes, they lost to Florida State. I get it. They beat Virginia Tech. They beat Duke, whatever. And then, they lost. Their losses are to Alabama, the number 1 team in the country, to Michigan State. I wouldn't say they're too shabby. Virginia, they only lost by 2. And they lost to North Carolina by 3. I don't see how you fire a man with that, in my opinion.
You don't.
I believe you're right. I believe it all come down to the fact, like Kuz said, is that they saw they could get Mario Cristobal and they wanted to jump on it. So,
with that being said, then, if you don't mind me saying this, we'll reference back to Coach Bull Jones. Do you remember one of our very first live streams? He said every single AD has a drawer with an envelope, and there's a list of names. And if those names ever come up, if you're the current head coach, you're out. No matter almost the circumstance. I feel like that's kind of what happened with Miami then. Yeah, I think you guys nailed it.
Yeah, especially if they're middling of the road, you know. And they're going like 10-2 or 11-1. You can't do that.
That's a huge improvement last year, though.
But if you like 7-5, 8-4, yeah, you probably do that.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, they do have a drawer full. I actually West Virginia's AD actually said that he always has a drawer full of list of coaches.
Yep.
But he didn't say that. He didn't say that if one comes open, you hire them. But of course, West Virginia's not in a position to do that, anyways. Let's be honest. Neil Brown, and Luke Fickell were at the top of his list when the job came open. Those are the 2 guys he went after. Word on the street is Luke Fickell wasn't interested. Neil Brown was interested, so we got him.
Yeah, look, I keep saying it over and over again, and when you're, if you're a West Virginia fan or whoever it is, Cincinnati, I mean, obviously I wouldn't compare the 2, but on and on and on and on, you just got to hire a guy and you got to be patient. I'm going to keep saying it over and over again, man.
No, I agree with you, man. I've been trying to beat that into our fan base's brain. We are not Alabama. We're not Oklahoma. We're not even Clemson now. You could put it into that category, I guess.
Yeah.
That ain't not who we are. Now, maybe one of these days we can get there, but we're not there. And we're not the type of program that can fire a coach. It takes us 4 to 5 years to recover from that. You know?
Exactly.
Because we're not bringing in 5-star recruits. And so
I think West Virginia done right by keeping Neil Brown this year.
Oh, yeah,
I think they did right by keeping Neil Brown this year, because if they let him go this year, they would have been up against USC, LSU, Oklahoma,
Virginia,
Notre Dame,
Tech.
LSU. I already said LSU. There's so many damn jobs this year of major programs. So if, let's say, Neil Brown, what do you think he's got to do to keep his job next year?
He'll
probably win 8 games, something like that.
I feel like he's going to have to win 8 games.
Probably.
I feel like if I'm a fan of West Virginia, I need to see 8 games. You had expectations this year to a certain extent. Yeah. This is one of your, correct me if I'm wrong though, this is one of your better recruiting classes, right?
It was going to be the best in school history, but we've had 2 guys decommit. That's dropped us down below that. We're now down into the 30s, but low 30s for us is a good recruiting class. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Yeah, we're typically in high 30s, low 40s. So if we're in the low 30s with potential to get higher,
Yeah.
And let's not forget, West Virginia has been really good at getting. We've had really good successful transfers at West Virginia.
Yeah.
Will Greer, Tony Fields, that linebacker that went pro last year.
Yep.
Just to name a couple. Marcus Sims a few years ago went and played the NFL. So we've had some really good transfers, and we seem to do well in that arena.
If West Virginia does get rid of Neil Brown next year, I think you guys need to look at a guy by the name of Bill Clark.
Yeah, 100%.
This guy is a diamond in the rough. They even shut his program down, and he had to go back and get a bunch of new players, and still went out and won a conference championship.
First year.
After they shut his program down, he got an SMU death penalty for doing nothing wrong.
Yep.
And still come back and won. So West Virginia's got options next year if Neil Brown doesn't work out. And some of these mid-tier guys like Bill Clark or Jamie Chadwell at Coastal Carolina,
yeah,
I think would do a good job at West Virginia.
I think so too. Crypt Keepers, I think Crypt Keepers talking about
Joe Brady. Yeah, he wasn't their offensive coordinator, right?
What's that?
He wasn't their offensive coordinator, was he? Wasn't he a quarterback?
Yes, he was offensive coordinator of the year LSU won the championship.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, he was an offensive coordinator / QB coach.
Yeah, and then he was offensive coordinator at Carolina. When he just got fired.
Jesus. They get – you can't – bro, I keep saying it over and over again. You can't fire these guys after hiring them a year ago. It makes no sense to me.
That's that damn Cam Newton shit, man.
Yeah. There's a reason why the Patriots said see you later.
Man, I hate Cam Newton, man. Damn, I hate that guy.
He does. He has like disdain for him. But anyways, Crypt Keeper, you're talking. So why is nobody talking about him? Because here's the problem, man. There's 50 job openings, and Joe Brady's not going to get a top tier job. Joe Brady's not going to.
Maybe go to Oregon.
Joe Brady wouldn't go to Oregon. Oregon wouldn't even bring him in, probably.
Why not?
What? Okay. Outside of the 1 year with LSU, what has he done? Nothing. I don't know why everybody has this hype about, what happened? We all know what Joe Burrow came down to LSU. Everybody wants to give Joe Brady all this damn credit when the simple fact was, look, yeah, he probably had something to do with it. He called plays, but that doesn't mean you're going to be a great head coach. I don't know why people think because you're a great coordinator, you're going to be a great head coach.
On the flip side of that, it could be the same way, though. I mean, without Joe Brady, does Joe Burrow? Because Joe Burrow, his first season at LSU, he sucked. You bring Brady in, and Joe Burrow no longer sucks.
So you can honestly tell me that you think Joe Brady had everything to do with Joe Burrow magically turning around?
Did you see Joe Burrow's first season at LSU?
I did. It wasn't great, but many players have done that. Kenny Pickett is a perfect example of that. Kenny Pickett went from average at best, having this same quarterback coach. I'm just
saying, I think you need to give Joe Brady a little more credit. That's all I'm saying.
How much credit? You want me to send him flowers?
Yes.
I'm holding out hope that Jarrett Dagey is the next Kenny Pickett and Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I like that Buffalo Bills hat, man. That's fire right there.
I had forgot they're playing tonight. They're playing the Patriots tonight.
Hopefully they lose.
Huh?
Mac Jones is about to wear them out.
At this moment in time, he is.
Is he really?
It's 11-7, I think, or some weird score.
11-7.
Jesus, what a score that is!
I think he forgot how to count or something. They only put 11 up. I don't know.
It is 11-7. What a score!
Somebody pulled a safety.
That's in Buffalo too. So this is, and all I've heard is Mac Jones won't be able to play in the cold. He can't play in the cold. He's 1 of 1 for 12 yards in the second quarter.
Buffalo's underperforming this year, man.
A lot of them Big Ten schools are bad about that, man. They talk about how if some of these Southern teams would play them up north, that they would beat them. I'm like, man, Frosty the Snowman ain't gonna come out and win a damn game for you, man.
Dude, they're not throwing the ball at all. It must be extremely windy. Mac, there's a total of 9 throws thrown in the entire game.
Look at Bill Belichick. His face is red. He's blowing on his hands, wearing a hoodie. It's cold.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, it must be like something crazy out
Wind chill of 23 degrees.
43, that ain't
Wind
bad.
25 to 35 miles per hour left to right, gusts of 50 to 55
there
miles
it is. There it is.
They should cancel that game, man.
Wait, did you say 43 degrees?
23.
23, that ain't too bad.
Wind chill factor of 23.
I mean, come on now. I've taken a little colder than that. If I can take it, they should be able to take it.
I thought you said minus 43.
No, 23.
That's
Wind
a
chill
Minot,
factor
North
of
Dakota
23.
shit. I experienced that in Alaska, bro.
Did
And
you?
let me tell
I
you
bet.
something. Bone chilling. And when your bones hurt, you know it's cold outside.
Well, this game's over.
My
Buffalo
friend
has
lives
no
in
running
Chicago,
game.
said you
They're
can't
done.
go outside without your eyes. The water in your eyes freezing
Yeah.
in Chicago.
Yeah, Buffalo has no running game, so they have no chance. You think a GM of a team that plays in cold weather would go out and get a running back in a
Yeah.
draft? Wouldn't you?
Jeez, I don't know what. Yeah, Mac Jones has literally thrown one pass the entire game. One for
So,
12 yards.
So like Pittsburgh did with Najee Harris, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh has no offensive line. Let's be real.
What I didn't understand is Buffalo plays in the AFC Championship game. They get beat by Kansas City because we have a running game, and they basically made us one-dimensional and forced us to dared us to run the ball, and we couldn't.
Yep.
But you know what they did in the offseason? They went out and got another wide receiver. Like we had one of the best passing offenses in the league, and they go get another wide receiver, Emmanuel Sanders or whatever his name is.
Emmanuel Sanders.
Like,
He's aged.
come on, go get some linemen and a running back, okay?
You
don't win in the
Josh
NFL.
Allen.
You can't win in the NFL if you can't run the ball, at least a little bit.
Yeah, you got to be somewhat here.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm trying to look through the news here, man. Or what's going on? And it's like it's stalled out now that all this coaching stuff's all passed by.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Oregon's the only big job open now, right? Is Oregon?
Yeah, until Oregon steals somebody else's coach.
Exactly.
Then that one comes open. So you got Oregon.
Does Chip Kelly go back to Oregon?
And then no shit
No.
now. Oregon
I
may
hope
go after
not.
Brian Harsin.
Very possible. Yeah.
He might go after Brian Harsin because Brian Harsin's from that area. He was coach at Boise State.
Yeah.
So the Great Northwest. And Brian Harsin, I don't think he's very happy down here, especially all that COVID crap that they were talking about with him and that kind
The
of
vaccine.
Well, won't that be worse in Oregon?
Yeah,
Probably.
it would be worse.
stuff. You're probably right.
Oregon's
I don't
definitely
think
a
so.
liberal
I mean,
state.
look at the guy at Washington State.
Yeah, man, that was some crazy shit there, boy. I can't believe they fired those guys for that.
Yeah. Unbelievable, man.
Oh man.
Well, guys, I've kept y'all. I appreciate you guys chatting with me tonight. I've taken up enough of your time.
Oh, you're good, man. It's always good to talk college football, especially with the guy above me. That way, that
Yes.
ignorant POS. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's been fun, man. I really enjoyed it. We'll do it again.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't even know how to podcast if it wasn't for Johnathan.
I know. I already know all this. No, I'm just messing around. Man, it is nothing to it. It's just once you get shown, you just got to stick with it. That's what I
But
keep
for everybody watching this, be sure to check Johnathan out. Check JPC out. Their channels, College Football, Johnathan Lewis, Outlaw of College Football. JPC probably has the best hook of any YouTube channel out there. You'll know what I mean when you watch it. Common Joes and Common Sallies.
That's right.
Will know.
We are the home of the Common Joe and Common Sallies in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads.
I love it. I also like your intro, by the way.
It's all right. I do like the intro. I'm not.
I don't want to start an argument there, but I've kind of gotten rid of my intro. But it doesn't matter. It's whatever's best for you.
Man, I like it when you eat the little Debbie snacks, man.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Look, what you need to do is get an oatmeal pie though, because that's what West Virginia guys eat. That's what Nick Saban eats.
Trying to turn into Nick Saban, yeah.
Does he?
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
right. That's they made a commercial about it.
Yep. I didn't know that. That's funny. I've got a buddy of mine who's popped on a few of my live streams, and he'll say, "I'm only here for the oatmeal pies." He says that's what the O&O lineman stands for, is oatmeal pie.
You never seen that ESPN commercial where he drops the oatmeal pie on the floor?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
He said he eats 2 oatmeal pies for breakfast every morning.
Every single morning.
I think I did hear that, though, now that you mentioned it. Crypt Keeper, thanks, man. I appreciate you. You've been with us since the beginning, brother. All hour and a half. Appreciate that.
Those are the fans you got to keep around, man.
Absolutely. He's
Viewers.
a good one, man. But yeah, you guys go check their channel out, and they do a lot of good content. Very informative, very entertaining. They also do some work with some other guys that are really good, fun to watch. So check them out. I appreciate you guys hopping on.
Oh yeah, go UTSA.
All right, brother. Roll Tide.
Let's go Mountaineers.